Hi again. So in this one, let's talk about the new moon. First one of the year, actually. The theme is new, of course. Creation, beginnings, personal growth, fresh energy, and fertility. It's the perfect opportunity, like a genuine fresh start, seeing as the new year just began. And I know, there's a lot of, I guess not controversy, but there's not really a general consensus about when the new year really is, because I know some people celebrate it at different times, different cultures celebrate it at different times. But me, I am North American, so I'm used to a 4-season cycle in January. January is always like the new year, the winter solstice, and essentially that's when all the old or material from last season dies, you could say, or I would rather say ends its life cycle, because it's in preparation for a rebirth, a new cycle. So it's it really highlights the magic of seasons and the purpose behind endings, which is beginnings. So it's really cool. And to me, it always seems really magical, like the newness that's budding underneath the destruction of the ice. Like all the trees are bare, there's almost no vegetation except for our evergreens. Yeah, and it's really beautiful and it's really magical. So I'm cool with New Year being in January. I can also celebrate a new life cycle in spring too, but the New Year is January, and our first new moon is on the 18th. That's coming up in a couple of days. So let's get ready for that together. I'm gonna call this a new moon list of do's and don'ts, and I'll try to make it really concise for us. So, new moon do's. Do make a list of everything you're grateful for. Set intentions for the week, for the month, the year, and then journal these intentions and your thoughts on them. Do create a couple journal prompts. These are going to be relating to your goals, your intentions, your ideas, and your notes on your new moon experience. And I would also say notes on any of your observations about any rituals you want to try. Also, I would say do make new moon water. That's one of the rituals we're going to talk about in this video. I'll show you guys how to do that. I'll tell you guys how to do that. Do set up an altar or rearrange your current one, refresh it. Keeping along with the theme of new, fresh creation energy, you want to remove stagnation and start anew, start fresh. So I'll show you guys and tell you guys how to set up an altar or talk about it. And then do center and ground yourself. I have a couple tips on how to do that as well, so I'll share that in the video, including meditation and breath work. And I can show you guys a little bit of that too. Do make a playlist. Yeah, a playlist, like a music playlist. It could be songs you like, it could be beats, it could be affirmations, but I would say make a sound playlist that you want to play the night before the new moon and the day of. Playlists are an amazing vibe curator. So you set the tone and the intent and the energy and the vibe with the sounds you play. And then last do on my list of do's would be do declutter your space. This one is a big one because when you're refreshing your home or your room or your car, any space that you spend a lot of time in, or you're just in your entire home, in order to really embrace the theme of a new moon and a fresh start, you want to remove the old. And that's not just items, old energy, and even old mess. Some corners collect dust, and those dusts sit there for weeks on weeks on weeks, some houses even months. And that's no shade to anyone, because a mess can be cleaned up, and that's what we can do together. I can give you some tips on decluttering and organization, and just some little hacks to get around if it's not an easy task for you. So yeah, that was my final do of the new moon do's and don'ts. Now let's just quickly move on to the don'ts. It's more important what you do than what you don't do. But let's just cover some don'ts as well. Don't dwell on negative thoughts. You are your thoughts. So if something negative is on your mind, if there's something bothering you, if it's your past, your future, your present, take some time to hear your thoughts. Feel them, but do not dwell and ruminate. Think about it, journal, let it go. Find a solution, let it go. Also, don't argue with anyone. No social drama. Just, if somebody is bringing that energy, you will know. Trust your intuition. Tap into you, because your body knows first, and your body has self-defenses put up to protect you. So if you're around somebody and you feel that they're going to start an argument with you, or you feel like, that low vibrational energy, if possible, because I know sometimes it's not possible, like at work, but if possible, just remove yourself from that situation. Walk away. It's okay to walk away from somebody mid-sentence. Like, that's part of our free will. Somebody's saying something you don't like, you don't want to hear, you don't want to feel, provided they're not somebody who loves you and is trying to help you. Just walk away. So yeah, no arguments, guys. No social drama. Another don't forget to journal. It's so important. Journaling is one of our biggest tools that we can use for just like organizing our thoughts, because our thoughts are going a million miles an hour and you will forget stuff if you don't make notes. It's just the nature of neuroplasticity. There's a fun fact I should add in there, but I don't know it off the top of my head, so maybe I'll find it and insert in the video edit. But it's about basically how much capacity your brain actually has to hold ideas at a time. And it's something like 4%. Like, you don't want to forget your brilliant ideas. So journal, make notes, make voice notes if you have to. Some of us don't like to write. I do. But that carpal tunnel cramp comes up. So if you can't do journaling because it's uncomfortable, do voice notes. Digital journal is just as good. So don't forget to journal. Another don't share your personal goals. Just plant your seeds privately. For now, it's between you and the universe. So try your best not to overshare. I'm somebody who overshares like crazy. So I know that can be tough for some of you, but for those of you who it's not hard for, good for you. You know how to keep your mouth shut. And that is a protection modality. Protect your dreams, because if the haters don't have access to your dreams and goals and intentions, their energy can't influence it in any way. I also believe that their energy can't influence it anyway. If you are so passionate and strong and tapped into your source, because what's for you should not ever be able to miss you. But you can block your own blessings. So that's why I say, hold off on sharing your intentions and sharing your goals, and just plant your seeds privately. Another don't would be, don't make any big decisions or start something impulsively. This is the season for intentional planting of seeds. The metaphorical seeds are your hopes and dreams and your intentions and your goals. So don't try to make big decisions in a hurry, impulsively around this time. Take this time to sit with yourself and reflect and just do that personal growth. It's a planning stage, so honor that. And then my very last don't will be, don't forget your discernment. Period. Okay, so with all that being said, we've covered our do's and don'ts, but I also want to go over quickly what candles, incense, and cleansing herbs do you want to use, and where can you get them? So I did a little bit of research, and if you are looking for pure beeswax candles, which is my top recommendation, here's your options for candles. You can get beeswax, you can get coconut wax, or you can get soy wax. Those are the top 3 options, and I did list them in order of like best to worst, I guess. I want to say avoid any like paraffin wax blends or like the cheap candles, but if that's all you have access to, you're going to be okay. I'm just always aiming for the top quality, because treat yourself. You You are your prize. So you want to give yourself the best of what you can. Anyways, I'm Canadian, so these are some brands. They're all Canadian brands that you can check out when it comes to candles. There's Honey Candles, so it's a family-owned business. It is also like a business that uses local shopping supply, so they support local beekeepers for their beeswax. They also have an affiliate program, so that's something interesting. Their workers are artisans. As well as another brand. This brand is One Root. They're also Canadian. Their bees are antibiotic free, so they do not treat their bees with antibiotics. That's an interesting one. So you're getting some really organic beeswax from these bees. It's Canadian owned, artisans, and they have a decent price range. These guys use recycled packaging. Sorry, no, they don't. Honey Candles does. One Root doesn't. But yeah, the price ranges are between like $6 to $50, so something for every budget. And when it comes to candles, you want to get candle sticks or stand-up candles that you can use hands-free, essentially. Okay, so that's the candles, right? So these are online options. These are all online options. For the incense, you want to get a cedar incense stick or a frankincense stick or myrrh or sandalwood. Those are the ones you want to get because essentially those are the herbs that are known for their properties for cleansing energetic space. And I think it has to do with ions, negative ions and positive ions, but we can do like a science deep dive about that another time. So yes, I would say the best incense sticks would be the Flore sandalwood sticks. I have them. There's also Buddha stones, Tibetan Buddha sandalwood incense. That's another one. There's Jabu ancestral, guys, not ancestral. Jabu ancestral incense sandalwood sticks. And then there's Herb and Earth cedar incense sticks. And you can get some of these at the Canadian Rock Shop, but you could also find some of these at Whole Foods and Bulk Barn. So if you're Canadian, you know those stores. Or like a local crystal shop, but the Canadian Rock Store is a good one. And then for sage and Palo Santo, if you know any native or indigenous farmers or landowners, I would say that's the number one source to get your sage and Palo Santo from. But if you can't source that, of course there's other places like the Canadian Rock Store. There's also Zula Canada, because they source their Palo Santo sticks straight from Peru, so that's a good one. And then there's gatheringplacetrading.com. They also say it's like ethically sourced and non-GMO, and they also have a 1% sales back to the grassroots in their community, so that's pretty good. And that is gatheringplacetrading.com. Alternatively, you can go into a health food store or an alternative health store or one of those new age stores, and you're likely to find candlesticks, sage, sweetgrass, cedar, or Palo Santo, and even crystals. And then if you can't get to any places like this, the Bulk Barn or even Michael's, like all my Canadians will know what that is, but Bulk Barn or Michael's might also have candles, but they won't have sage and Palo Santo, but they will have candlesticks if you need that, or even convenience stores sometimes have candlesticks, so if you can check those places out if you need it in a pinch. And then one more thing on like sage and Palo Santo, the commercialization of sage has really affected the industry negatively, so a lot of people recommend sweetgrass for cleansing, so just keep that in mind when you're shopping. Oftentimes cleaning and organization and decluttering is somewhat of a daunting task and has negative emotions attached to it, because sometimes, or not sometimes actually, like I was saying, items and dust and energy collects itself, and stagnant energy tends to make people feel angsty and uncomfortable and just basically disharmonious. So what we're going to do to make sure we don't have that problem is pick a spot and pick a room. So I would just pick, for me, I would pick a room. Start with your bedroom. And a bedroom's relatively big room, even if it's a small bedroom. So then at that point you can pick a specific theme or a specific category or a specific item. So let's say your closet. What you do is you take everything out of your closet, put it on your bed, and then you pick up each item one at a time. Me personally, I like to try on these items. Sorry guys about the noise, I'm outside. But I like to try on these items one at a time. Sometimes I take pictures or videos in them, but I'll try them on and see if this item, 1, even fits me anymore, 2, how's the condition, and is it cute enough? Do I love it so much that I don't care about the condition? Because I have some items that are old and like hand-me-downs, and they have holes and rips, but for me the item actually causes me to feel feelings of joy, and they're sentimental, and I think they're beautiful enough because I still use and wear them, and me trying them on and looking at them and making this decision also reminds me to use it if I haven't been. And if I don't have those feelings, guess what? You can put that in the donation pile, because the thrift store is also about finding treasures and giving treasures. So maybe that treasure has had its time with you and now it's ready for someone else to find it, and I think that's okay. And that's how you can reduce clutter. You can make space for new stuff, and you can also do something nice, because who knows who finds that and they're just perfect for it, or they can do something with it, like recycle it, reuse it. So yeah, you gotta keep the flow flowing. Another decluttering or cleaning tip, we could let's move to a different room, for example, when it comes to cleaning. So let's say you're gonna go clean your bathroom. You have to wash everything, so just start one at a time and focus on that. Washing your sink, just wash your sink. Everything on the sink, everything on and around the sink, and under the sink, and on the floor of the sink. Or you could do the floor as a separate entity, which is what I like to do as well. So yeah, then you move on to your bathtub, your shower, your water closet, your toilet, whatever you got going on. Doesn't matter. It applies whether you live in a basement apartment or a mansion or a penthouse or a So yeah, you clean your things one at a time, finish them, and that's it. It'll take a while sometimes, but that's okay. You have time. And if you put it off, it doesn't make sense, because then you're going to have a dirty bathroom for evil. That's what I think. Final tip for cleaning and decluttering is never keep garbage. Always throw your garbage out. Trust me. We're talking about energy here, so you want to throw your garbage out. So now that you have all the tools you need to curate that reset you've been ruminating about, or just to try something new or tap into your inner energy worker, give it a try and surprise yourself. And if you try out any of these new moon rituals, or if you make a playlist, tell me about it in the comments. And in our next video, I would probably ask you guys to tell me about your follow-up of your new moon progress and follow-up of your intentions. But what should the next video be about? Feel free to comment suggestions on what you might want to learn about or talk about. I have a bunch of ideas jotted in my journal. That's what journaling's good for. But I would still love to hear the suggestions of any viewers I may already have. Tell me what you guys want to talk about, and if I know about it, we can talk about it together, or we can learn about it together, because I love researching. But yeah, it's been fun. Happy new moon, happy intention setting, and congratulations on the birth of a new you.